हेलो दोस्तों, आप सभी का स्वागत है मेरे इस यूट्यूब चैनल स्टडी एंड एंटरटेनमेंट क्लब में। आज मैं आपके लिए लेकर आया हूँ चैप्टर नंबर 1 क्लास 10 द नेशनलिज्म ऑफ यूरोप। इसमें हम ये पहले रीडिंग करेंगे, फिर एक्सप्लेनेशन देखेंगे। तो चलिए वीडियो स्टार्ट करते हैं।
आज के सेशन में आपको मिलेगा फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन, नेशन स्टेट की डेफिनेशन एंड नेपोलियन हाउ ही केम टू एनसीईआरटी। 19th सेंचुरी की बात चल रही है। 19th सेंचुरी सबसे पहले तो बनाई से 19th सेंचुरी आई मीन 1800 to 1900 because in century we always go backwards. Okay, so in 19th century there was a new force in the Europe. This new force was not a weapon, not a gun, not a tank. It was a feeling, a emotion. Can you imagine? Yes, a feeling, a emotion, and that feeling and emotion is known as nationalism. With this feeling जो हमें end product मिला अपने लास्ट में, वो मिला nation state. अब before we start pondering upon this subject, the question arises, क्या nationalism आने से पहले हमारे पास nation states नहीं थी, और nation states नहीं थी तो था क्या आखिर? So let's get to that question. Yes, before nationalism came into the picture, we did not have nation state. Instead, we had multinational dynastic empire. क्या मतलब है इसका? मतलब ऐसे empires थे जहां पे dynasty after dynasties, the rulers were coming generation after generation from the same dynasty, and they were multinational. People belonging to different ethnicities, different geographical variation, different languages, they were a part of these empires. थोड़े बहुत हमें मॉडर्न स्टेट के कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स भी देखने को मिलते थे, बट ओवरऑल इफ आई टेल यू देयर वाज नॉट अ सिंगल नेशन स्टेट। इनफैक्ट फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशन वो पहला रेवोल्यूशन था जिसके बाद नेशनलिज्म फीलिंग वाज एक्नॉलेज्ड इन द वर्ल्ड एंड इन द यूरोप, एंड वी गॉट आवर नेशन स्टेट। सो अब बात आती है कि नेशन स्टेट होता क्या? Easy peasy. If you want to spot a nation state, you just have to look for three things. Thing number one, point number one, sense of common identity. Why go to the Europe? Let's consider India's example. No, we, मैं, आप, आपके parents, मेरे parents, everybody that we know in India have a common identity, and that common identity is that we all are Indians. Right? Point number two, shared history. मेरी भी वही history रही है जो आपकी history रही है। क्यों? क्योंकि हम दोनों का nation same है। My history and your history is all same because we both have the same nation state. Right? Point number three, struggle. My forefathers have also struggled to get this country independent. Your forefathers have also struggled for the same thing. So we have a common struggle also. With common identity, with shared history, and with the common struggle, we get our nation state. तो फिर मॉडर्न स्टेट क्या होता है? मॉडर्न स्टेट में नेशन स्टेट की सिर्फ एक ही क्वालिटी होती है। मॉडर्न स्टेट हैव सेंट्रलाइज्ड पावर, सेंट्रलाइज्ड सॉवरेनिटी, सेंट्रलाइज्ड पॉलिटिकल अथॉरिटी, बट नेशन स्टेट हैज मच मोर। What is that much more? I have already told you those 3 points. अच्छा, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक है। जहां जहां मुझे लगेगा टॉपिक इंपॉर्टेंट है, मैं आपको बताती भी रहूंगी। ओके, चलो आगे चलते हैं। फ्रेंच
रीडिंग। फिगर 1, The Dream of Worldwide Democratic and Social Republics. The Pact Between Nations, a print prepared by Frederick Sorio, 1848. In 1848, Frederick Sorio, a French artist, prepared a series of 4 prints visualizing his dream of world made up of democratic and social republics, as he called them. The first print of the series shows the peoples of Europe and America, men and women of all ages and social classes, marching in a long train and offering homage to the Statue of Liberty as they pass by it. As you would recall, artists of the time of French Revolution personified liberty as a female figure. Here you can recognize the torch of enlightenment she bears in one hand and the charter of the rights of man in the other. On the earth, in the foreground of the image, lie the shattered remains of the symbols of absolutist institutions. In Sorio's utopian vision, the people of the world are grouped as distinct nations, identified through their flags and national costume. Absolutist. Literally a government or a system of rule that has no restraints on the power exercised. In history, the term refers to a power of monarchical government that was centralized, militarized, and repressive. Utopian. A vision of a society that is so ideal that is unlikely to actually exist. Leading the procession way past the Statue of Liberty are the United States and Switzerland, which by this time were already nation states. France, identifiable by the revolutionary tricolor, has just reached the statue. She is followed by the peoples of Germany bearing the black, red, and gold flag. Interestingly, at the time when Sorio created this image, the German people did not yet exist as a united nation. The flag they carry is an expression of liberal hopes in 1848 to unify the numerous German speaking principalities into a nation state under a democratic constitution. Following the German people are the peoples of Austria, the Kingdom of Two Sicilies, Lombardy, Poland, England, Ireland, Hungary, and Russia. From the heavens above, Christ, saints, and angels gaze upon the scene. They have been used by the artist to symbolize fraternity among the nations of the world. This chapter will deal with many of the issues visualized by Sorio in Figure 1. During the 19th century, nationalism emerged as a force which brought about sweeping changes in the political and mental world of Europe. The end result of these changes was the emergence of nation state in place of multinational dynastic empires of Europe. The concept and practices of a modern state in which a centralized power exercised sovereign control over a clearly defined territory had been developing over a long period of time in Europe. But a nation state was one in which the majority of its citizens, and not only its rulers, came to develop a sense of common identity and shared history or descent. This commonness did not exist from time immemorial. It was forged through struggles, through the actions of leaders and the common people. This chapter will look at diverse processes through which nation state and nationalism came into being in the 19th century Europe.
On to the French Revolution. जैसा कि मैंने बताया, French Revolution was the first ever clear expression. Clear. इससे पहले भी हुआ है, but this was the first clearest expression of nationalism. Now, bacha, you have to understand. Before that, the political authority was also with somebody else, and also the unity among the people was not there. Political authority, which is also known as sovereignty. If we talk only of French Revolution, the political authority was with King Louis the 16th. Yes, you are right. और उसके बाद French Revolution के बाद वो political authority कहाँ चली गई? It went on to the body of French citizen. So ये miracle हुआ कैसे? How did this miracle happen? This miracle happened because of French revolutionaries. And they took it upon their shoulders कि उन्हें ये भावना instill करनी ही है. They have to instill the feeling of nationalism in everybody who is there in France. तो कैसे किया? Obviously इतना innovative plan था, तो innovative ideas चाहिए थे. Let's look at those ideas. I'm giving you these whole set of ideas that you can write in your 5-marker question also. Point number 1. New phrases. Les citoyens and la patrie. So, bacha, before French Revolution, people could not relate to the land. They only thought of France as a piece of land. They were not relating to it. So, revolutionaries ने एक ये revolutionary concept निकाला कि this land is our la patrie, this is our fatherland, and we are its citizens. So, can you now see that there is a relationship between the land and the people? Amazing, isn't it? Point number 2, French plan. Now, if we want a revolution, अगर हमें revolution चाहिए, we want a nation state, obviously we are not going to go ahead with the former royal flag, जो है testimony एक monarch की. तो इसीलिए French revolutionaries came up with a new tricolor flag of the France. Point number 3, National Assembly. बच्चा, everything needs to have political representation. सब चीज को चाहिए होता है. So people even realized it, and to make the constitution, to get French people its freedom, French citizens came up with National Assembly, जिसका पहले नाम क्या था? Estates General. Point number 4. Obviously, एक ही country की बात कर रहे हैं, हम country बनाने की बात कर रहे हैं, so we can't keep internal taxes, so they were abolished. And इसी के साथ साथ the French revolutionaries adopted uniform weighing and measure system so that everybody in the country is economically on the same page. Amazing, right? Then now next point मैं थोड़ा agree नहीं करती हूँ, but this point definitely played in favor of the फ्रेंच रेवोल्यूशनरीज. सो रीजनल वेरिएशंस जो थी फ्रेंच लैंग्वेज में, दे वर डिस्करेज. And on the top of it, French was imposed as the common language of the nation. Because the idea was, French revolutionaries को लगा अगर हम एक लैंग्वेज में बात करेंगे सब लोग तो यूनिटी ज्यादा बढ़ेगी. ठीक है. लास्ट पॉइंट इज माय फेवरेट. चलो इंडिया के एग्जांपल से समझाती हूँ. वंदे मातरम, जनगण मन, नाउ वी नो देम एज आवर नेशनल एंथम एंड नेशनल सॉन्ग, बट once they were not the national anthem or national song, right? Once they were only hymns and only songs, और जो बनाए जाते थे इसलिए ताकि हम लोग united feel कर सके, right? Similarly, French revolutionaries came up with new songs, new poems, new hymns, so that everybody who sings it, जो भी वो गाना गाएगा, they should feel connected and united. How beautiful, right? So all of these were measures taken to instill the collective identity in the people of the France. Now let's talk about ये फ्रांस का था ना ये सब कुछ. How did this idea or how did these ideas, if I should say, they spread throughout the Europe? कैसे हुआ ये मिरेकल? अब ये बड़ा मिरेकल है. तो बच्चा इसमें 2-3 लोगों का हाथ था. Ones were definitely your French Revolutionary, they were the force of it. Second were your French army men. तो जहां जहां फ्रेंच आर्मी जाती थी, wherever French army used to go, they used to take the ideas of the French Revolution. They used to take the ideas of the nation state. तो धीरे धीरे करके स्प्रेड होता गया पूरे यूरोप में. Also, Jacobin Club. Do you remember it? Class 9th. Very important question of class 9th. Yes, the most famous political club of the French society, Jacobin Club. That also became a force in spreading the idea of nationalism. Political awareness was being created among the citizens. राइट. चलो फिर एकदम से एनसीईआरटी में हम जंप करते हैं नेपोलियन में. सो थोड़ा सा मैं बैक स्टोरी बता देती हूँ. हु वाज नेपोलियन? नेपोलियन बच्चा वाज द फ्रेंच मिलिट्री डिक्टेटर. And when France was boiling and France was all revolutionary, the neighboring countries were feeling threatened. So they were attacking the France. और हमारा जो हीरो है स्टोरी का, नेपोलियन, he saved the France from those neighboring countries. बचा तो लिया, but after saving the France, he definitely destroyed the democracy. Democracy destroy कर दी और reintroduce कर दी monarchy. थोड़ा गुड थोड़ा बैड, half hero half villain, but he was not that buddhu, he was not that cruel. He came up with a very amazing administrative system which is known as civil code of 1804. One mark, very important question. civil code का दूसरा नाम क्या होता है? The other name of civil code is Napoleonic code, right? चलो अब ये जो स्लाइड दिख रही है, मैं चाहती हूँ each one of you should take a screenshot of this slide. Why? Because look at the slide. Option number A, no, point number 1, it is very beautiful. Point number 2, it is very concise. इस एक स्क्रीनशॉट से पूरा नेपोलियनिक कोड आपको समझ आ जाएगा. इसमें भी पॉइंट नंबर 1 करते हैं. तो हमारे नेपोलियन ने सबसे पहले अमाउंट रिड्यूस किया करेंसी नंबर्स का. सो देयर वर सो मेनी करेंसीज इन द फ्रेंच लैंड आल्सो, इन द यूरोप आल्सो. ही रिड्यूस्ड द अमाउंट ऑफ द करेंसी. ही मेड अ कॉमन नेशनल करेंसी. पॉइंट नंबर 2, ही सेट अप इक्वालिटी बिफोर लॉ. इक्वालिटी बिफोर लॉ मतलब क्या है? मतलब ये है बच्चों कि लॉ जो है अनबायस्ड होना चाहिए. लॉ शुड लुक फॉर द क्राइम एंड नॉट फॉर द क्रिमिनल. Point number 3, no privileges by birth. याद करो class 9, there were first estate, second estate, third estate. First estate and second estate used to enjoy privileges based on the birth. So Napoleon abolished all of them. Amazing. Like I said, half hero, half villain. Then point number 4, secured the right to property. अच्छा बच्चों क्या होता था ना पहले यूरोप में, इन द अर्लियर टाइम्स इन यूरोप द प्रॉपर्टी वाज कन्फाइडेड इनटू द हैंड्स ऑफ फ्यू पीपल. कुछ ही लोगों के हाथ में प्रॉपर्टी होती थी. बड़े बड़े लार्ज लैंड ओनर्स हुआ करते थे. सो नेपोलियन सेड व्हाट इज दिस कॉन्सेप्ट? इफ यू आर एजुकेटेड, इफ यू आर मेकिंग मनी, इफ यू आर डूइंग हार्ड वर्क एंड गेनिंग योर ओन प्रॉपर्टी, यू शुड हैव द राइट टू कीप इट. तो राइट टू प्राइवेट प्रॉपर्टी, राइट टू प्रॉपर्टी सिक्योर करवाया आपका नेपोलियन ने. Then point number 5, feudal system. Now I'm not going to go into the details of the feudal system. You guys have already studied in class 9. Feudal system जो बहुत unjust था for the poor peasants, that was abolished. And guild restrictions जिसके बारे में हम age of industrialization में अच्छे से पढ़ेंगे, those guild restrictions were also abolished. है ना? अब transport and communication. But every country needs good transportation and communication for its development. Napoleon realized it and Napoleon made sure that transport and communication is improved in the French land. Also standardize weights and measure. If 1 kg is 1000 gram in my city in India, it should be 1000 grams in your city also. No, the same was the logic and Napoleon did it. So अब आप पूछोगे मैम इतना अच्छा सिविल कोड था, such a great civil code, then people must be very elated about it. Yes, you are right. Initially, wherever Napoleon used to go, wherever French armies used to go, people used to be hip hip hooray. People used to think that French armies are the flag bearers of liberty, freedom, harbingers of liberty and freedom. Switzerland, Holland, Belgium, everywhere where, French armies would go, people will welcome them. But later they realized कि इतना भी अच्छा नहीं है हमारा हीरो. The initial enthusiasm soon turned into hostility when they realized कि कॉन्स जो है नेपोलियन के होने के वो प्रोज से काफी ज्यादा है. When the people weighed pros and cons outweighed the pros. So कौन से cons थे? सबसे पहला पॉइंट है कि देखो नेपोलियन कुछ भी करे, whatever civil code is doing, but political freedom was not there with the people. Point number 2 is censorship was imposed. What is censorship? Suppression of emotions, expression, opinion. तो censorship लगा दी गई थी. Point number 3 is taxation system बढ़ा दिया गया था, tax बढ़ा दिया गया था. Now you will say, ma'am, we just studied that internal taxes were abolished. Yes, those were the internal taxes. Overall taxes were definitely enhanced. Point number 4, even I forgot. Yeah, French armies. Yeah, so point number 4 is कि French armies में जबरदस्ती admission कराया जाता था. क्यों कराया जाता था? Because Napoleon was a very ambitious person. He wanted to not just, stop at France. He wanted to go further into the Europe and be the monarch of the entire Europe. तो इस ambition के साथ, with this ambition, Napoleon क्या करता था? आर्मी का साइज बढ़ाने के लिए forced admission कराता था आर्मी में. तो ये सब जब लोगों ने देखा तो their enthusiasm was pissed and people said कि अब हमें नहीं चाहिए. We are rejecting Napoleon. We are rejecting the civil code.
Unit 1. The French Revolution and the Idea of Nation. The first clear expression of nationalism came with the French Revolution in 1789. France, as you would remember, was a full-fledged territorial state in 1789 under the rule of an absolute monarch. The political and constitutional changes that came in the wake of the French Revolution led to the transfer of sovereignty from the monarchy to a body of French citizens. The revolution proclaimed that it was the people who would henceforth constitute the nation and shape its destiny. From the very beginning, the French revolutionaries introduced various measures and practices that could create a sense of collective identity amongst the French people. The ideas of la patrie, the fatherland, and les citoyens, the citizen, emphasized the notion of a united community enjoying equal rights under a constitution. A new French flag, the tricolor, was chosen to replace the former royal standard. The Estates General was elected by the body of active citizens and renamed the National Assembly. New hymns were composed, oaths were taken, and martyrs commemorated, all in the name of nation. A centralized administrative system was put in place and it formulated uniform laws for all citizens within its territory. Internal custom duties and dues were abolished, and a uniform system of weights and measures was adopted. Regional dialects were discouraged, and French, as it was spoken and written in Paris, became the common language of the nation. The revolutionaries further declared that it was the mission and the destiny of French nation to liberate the people of Europe from despotism. In other words, to help other people of Europe to become nations. When the news of the events in France reached the different cities of Europe, students and other members of educated middle class began setting up Jacobin clubs. Their activities and campaigns prepared the way for the French armies, which moved into Holland, Belgium, Switzerland, and much of Italy in the 1790s. With the outbreak of revolutionary wars, the French armies began to carry the idea of nationalism abroad. Napoleon. Within the wide swath of territory that came under his control, Napoleon set about introducing many of the reforms that he had already introduced in France. Through a return to monarchy, Napoleon had no doubt destroyed democracy in France, but in the administrative field, he had incorporated revolutionary principles in order to make the whole system more rational and efficient. The Civil Code of 1804, usually known as Napoleonic Code, did away with all privileges based on birth, established equality before the law, and secured the right to property. This code was exported to the regions of under French Revolution control. In the Dutch Republic, in Switzerland, in Italy, and Germany, Napoleon simplified administrative divisions, abolished the feudal system, and freed peasants from serfdom and manorial dues. In the towns, too, guild restrictions were removed. Transport and communication systems were improved. Peasants, artisans, workers, and new businessmen enjoyed a newfound freedom. Businessmen and small scale producers of goods, in particular, began to realize that uniform laws, standardized weights and measures, and a common national currency would facilitate the movement and exchange of goods and capital from one region to another. However, in the areas conquered, the reaction of the local population to the French rule were mixed. Initially, in many places such as Holland and Switzerland, as well as in certain cities like Brussels, Mainz, Milan, and Warsaw, the French armies were welcomed as harbingers of liberty. But the initial enthusiasm soon turned to hostility as it became clear that the new administrative arrangements did not go hand in hand with political freedom. Increased taxation, censorship, forced conscription into the French armies required to conquer the rest of Europe all seem to outweigh the advantages of the administrative changes. तो आज का वीडियो हम यही स्टॉप करेंगे. नेक्स्ट टॉपिक हम नेक्स्ट वीडियो से कंटिन्यू करेंगे. अगर आपको वीडियो अच्छा लगा तो इसे लाइक कीजिए, शेयर कीजिए, सब्सक्राइब कीजिए, बेल आइकन को दबाना ना भूलें. धन्यवाद.